Awesome.
Hey everyone, I'm sorry we're a little bit late today. I have Jennifer Kim here with us today, and she is all hooked up and no echo. Jennifer, I'm so thrilled to have you here. Jennifer is a business coach, and she's going to talk to us today about the CVI assessment and how we can know our personalities and know our strengths and how we can bring this to work and in working with clients too. So, Jennifer, take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Well, thanks so much for having me here today. I was so excited to talk about this because personalities are like my thing. They totally get me excited. And so, well, actually, I was a dentist before I was a coach for 15 years, and I was really successful at it, but it was highly, highly stressful. And there were parts of it that I loved, but as a career, it just wasn't fulfilling to me. And it led to a lot of problems actually in my personal life. I wasn't present for my kids emotionally. I was, constantly snapping at my husband, and they weren't doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And so it ended up taking a big toll on my health, actually, too. And I had been working with a coach for many years and finally realized that I was just in the wrong career, which was kind of a hard thing to hear. I'd gone through all this schooling and had all this debt, but I knew that I needed to do that. So I decided to retire, and I thought I was going to be a stay at home mom. And I was all excited, never done that
Oh,
before. And then after a couple months, I realized I'm probably not cut out to be a stay at home mom because I actually missed working. So, went for a couple of years trying to figure out what I like to do. And I was getting really frustrated because I wasn't finding anything fulfilling. And then I realized that when people would talk about being in jobs that I hated, like my ears would perk up. And so I finally realized that I wanted to help other people the way my coach helped me to find careers that they love. And now, specifically, to help them grow their businesses and having that work life balance because I didn't have that as a dentist myself.
oh my
So I
gosh.
became,
This
yeah.
is such a good story because I think a lot of us can relate to not having the first career that we love and figuring it out later. So sorry, keep going.
Oh, yeah, no. And so that's what led me to become a coach. And it's amazing. Actually, it was the CVI that helped me realize why dentistry was totally the wrong career for me and why coaching is perfect. So I cannot wait to share with you all about the CVI.
Okay, awesome. So tell me, your coach had you take the CVI?
No, actually, that's something that I took when I was going through my coaching program. They had us take like 7 different personality tests. And when I took it, I was like, oh my God, no wonder I hated being a dentist. And it was funny because when I went through the certification training for the CVI, because I liked it so much, I wanted to get certified in it. And, we all take the test and our results are seen to everyone else too. So you have it on the outside and on the inside. And the teacher was walking around and she looks at mine and she's like, what was your job before again? And I said, yeah, I was a dentist. And she's like, oh, no, totally wrong career for you. So yeah, it was really interesting to learn. Yeah, it just was really helpful for me to see why coaching is so perfect for me now.
So how is the CVI different than the other personality tests that are out there?
Yeah, so the CVI was originally developed for employers to give it to all the employees at their work to make sure that everyone was in the right seats at work. But it's now being used for kids, for adults, for everything. And it's a little
Oh.
bit different than like, I don't know if you guys have taken the Myers-Briggs,
Hmm.
ENFP, a lot of people have taken that one. That one, I've taken it a couple times and it's changed. Like my results have changed every couple of years. And so I feel like that one is maybe more environmental or what stage you are in your life. Whereas the CVI is supposed to measure what your innate core values are. So your results, in theory, should never change over your lifetime. The degree to what you are in one area might be, but your actual, like, two tops should never change.
Wow, I didn't know that. And I'm so glad you said that because every time I take Myers-Briggs, some days I'm an introvert, some days I'm an extrovert. Like it totally changes every couple years, like you said.
Yeah. And the cool thing about the CVI is your kids can take it as long as they can read, I think like at a fourth grade level. So around 8 to 9 years old can take it. And I had my whole family take it. And oh my gosh, it has improved our relationship so much more as a family because I understand them. That's how they're wired. Instead of being like, why don't you do this? Like, I just have more empathy for them now. So it's really helped our family relationships too.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to make everyone in my family take it now, even the 2-year-old. No.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So I just had a blog come out this week, which is funny timing because we had this scheduled before we had you booked about personality tests, and a lot of employers do use them. I know that it's illegal to make like a hiring decision based on that, but they do screen, a lot of small business owners screen clients based on personalities. And I just am shocked that I'd never heard about this one before.
That it was used to for companies to do it. So I think the word is just now starting to get out. You know,
Yeah.
you'll find ones that resonate with you, but this one has really helped me and all my clients. I have all of my clients take this before I start working with them because it shows me how they communicate, how they take in information. I get a lot of insight before we even work together.
Oh my gosh. So we had a lot of our VAs take this test already, and I would love for you to dive into what the test means. And some of like majority of our people got merchant innovator. So I would love for you to talk about that and just give us some more insight into how we can use this information.
Okay. So, and actually, I think a lot of people were innovator merchants as well, right?
Oh yeah, and it's different. I mean, to me, I'm
It's
like,
different.
oh, but it is different. So yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. So I think in terms of like, I think it's really good for people to have a basic understanding of the four different types, not only for knowing about yourself, but also for knowing how to interview with different people and also how being able to speak to your strengths. Like if you read the PDF that came with when you took the CVI, like look at those words and see the ones that speak about you, because that's a lot of people use those words in their resume, describing themselves. So it's really helpful to have a basic understanding. But do you want me to do just like a quick run through of each
Yeah,
of the four types? Okay.
I would love
So
that.
we'll start with merchants. So merchants are connectors, relationship builders. So they're all about people and helping people. And they're also visionaries. So they're always coming up with ideas for the future. And a lot of coaches like me are merchant innovators. So a lot of people that you guys probably will be working with will be merchant innovators as
Okay.
well. And they are pretty friendly. They're kind of outgoing. And they're not usually too afraid to be in the public eye. So example of merchants are Emily, myself, and if you guys know who Jenna Kutcher is on Instagram, I don't
Oh,
know if you guys or people know her. Yeah, she has the Gold Digger podcast. I'm imagining that she's probably a big merchant as well.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So then innovators, what they're known for is being problem solvers and strategic thinkers. So they're not scared of any problem. And they're also really good at dealing with relationships, but they're not as extroverted. They're a little bit more introverted, but they
Okay.
have really good social skills. So sometimes people will think that they're a merchant, but they're actually, a little bit more to themselves. And they would be, an example might be like Steve Jobs or
Ooh.
Amy Porterfield, if you guys know who she is, who's a big course creator. I would imagine that she's more of an innovator as well.
Yes, I agree with that too.
Okay. And then the third type is builders. So builders are people who take action. They love to just get stuff done. They're usually very natural at being a leader. They like to be in charge and they don't really like sitting around. They like to keep busy. They always want to be doing something. And so I think an example of a builder might be like Michael Phelps, or Oprah might be either innovator builder or merchant builder. I think Oprah definitely has builder in her because she gets stuff done.
Hmm.
Okay, and then the last one, which is probably, I think, the most misunderstood group, are bankers. Now, you guys probably won't be working with a lot of bankers because
Okay.
not a lot of bankers are entrepreneurs, and I'll tell you why.
Oh,
Bankers are they're experts. They're the knowledge gatherers, and they protect the rest of us from risk and danger. So, and they like to be in a place where there's rules. So they do kind of well in like the corporate world. Whereas merchant innovators don't tend to like being in the corporate way. We want to make our own rules. We want the freedom to decide for ourselves, right?
yes.
So bankers like rules. And they probably wouldn't be entrepreneurs because that's risky and scary, right?
Yeah.
So you might not work with a lot of bankers, but they might be like a merchant banker. But yeah, so that's the difference.
Okay, I had no idea, and I didn't really think about that in terms of famous people. So I'm glad you put that context on there. So you're saying a majority of the online business owners are going to be your merchant innovators?
Probably,
Okay,
yes.
so, so what kind of person would complement them? Like, what kind of person would they want to hire on their team? Is it somebody who's the same or different?
Well, I mean, in terms of like people being creative, merchant innovators are highly creative. And so I think for what you guys do as virtual assistants, you have to be highly creative because you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to get all this stuff done for the people, that I'm working with? And so you do have to be highly creative. That's what we're counting on you to do. So creativity can be creative in different ways. I'm creative in terms of helping people with their businesses. You guys are creative. How do I make this landing page look great? How do I get their website to work? So there's different types of creativity.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I don't think that necessarily, I wouldn't, if I was hiring a VA, I wouldn't be looking for a specific personality type necessarily.
Hmm.
It would be, can they execute and get the things done? Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, totally, totally does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, there's so much more to it than I thought. I mean, I know I got my results and I was so excited and I felt like mine was spot on because I had part builder in me and I know that sometimes I just want to get stuff done. Like I don't blink and I just do it and it's so interesting to see these results and learn how can I utilize this knowledge like when applying for jobs and interviewing for jobs.
Yeah, like for you, I think one of your greatest strengths is that you get stuff done. And that's something that I would highlight if I was talking to someone like,
Okay.
I don't hesitate. I get stuff done. I'll give you a deadline. And that's what a lot of merchant innovators like myself need. So if you want, we could also talk about what are the different personality types you'd be working with and kind of the challenges that you'd be facing and what are some things to do ahead of time so that you don't run into roadblocks of working with different personality types.
Oh, I would love that because I've struggled with this. I've seen the different personalities. I know that some I work better with than others, and I don't quite know what that is. So please take it away.
For sure. Okay. So, talking about like, let's do merchants first, specifically merchant innovators. So, like I said, a lot of coaches are merchant innovators and we're highly creative, but we aren't that detail oriented and we can get distracted easily. So, that's why we need you. And we don't like hurting anybody's feelings. There's that merchant in us, is that we're all about people. And that's the thing we hate to do the most is hurt anybody. So, if you give us a deadline, we will do it.
Ooh,
So,
I like that.
really, yeah, really good I love it when my VA gives me deadlines, especially when it's spelled out for me. Then I will make sure that I get it done. And so I think it's really important when you're working with a merchant, and you probably can tell right off the bat if they're very, talkative and friendly and outgoing. Um, then you want to have your expectations spelled out before you guys start working together. So I would really recommend having either a frequently asked questions page that you go over or a contract where you spell out, what are my working hours? Okay, so I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So a typical merchant innovator thing to do would be like, I'm come up with this great idea. Oh my God, I have this PDF I wanted to, I need to do it right now. So I will be sending you an email at 2 o'clock in the morning and being like, when can you get it done? Emily, can you do it right now? Because I'm excited. I'm creative. I'm like, oh my God. And if she didn't tell me in the beginning, hey, look, these are my hours, it's going to take me at least a day to look at it and turn it around. I'm going to be disappointed if I'm not getting it right away because I'm so
Oh,
excited.
I didn't think about
Right.
that. Yeah.
So, and my website designer, she's really good about, hey, I know for her, I have to give her enough time.
Hmm.
The expectation is already there. But if you don't spell it out for me, I'm going to be like, well, why can't you get it done? So I think having it spelled out ahead of time for merchants is really, really helpful.
Oh, this is excellent advice because I have clients who do that, who text at 10 p.m. and want me to do stuff. And it's one thing if it's a crisis, but it's not always a crisis.
No, it's not always a crisis. Yeah. And I think just spelling that out ahead of time and making sure that it's really clear
Okay.
is going to be helpful. It's going to help your relationship so much in the long run.
Okay.
And having boundaries around your time. Like I think especially I have to do that as a coach too, saying, hey, my working hours, I will respond to emails between this and this time. If you don't want them to text you and say the best way to communicate with me is through email. So making sure you have boundaries around your time, because otherwise we might overstep those boundaries if you don't spell them out for us.
Okay, I can do that. This is really good advice.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm trying to think what else about merchants. Okay, so then innovators, and I know a lot of you in this group are innovators. You might be able to relate to this. That one of the biggest challenges of an innovator is perfectionism. So wanting to keep working on something, and actually for innovators, it's never perfect enough. Like you can
Mhm.
always keep working on it. So innovators need a deadline, and they need actually a shorter deadline than what you think. So have you guys heard of this law called Parkinson's law? Have you heard of that,
I
Emily?
have, yeah. Go ahead, but please explain it to everybody.
Yeah, so Parkinson's law is that work will expand to fill the time that you give it. So if you give an innovator, okay, so they want a landing page, okay, we'll do it in a week. They're going to take the entire week, and then they'll be like, "Can you give me maybe a couple more days?" Because they want to make it perfect. Okay, so you want to actually give an innovator shorter time, because the longer they have to work on it, they're going to keep being like, "Oh, it's not good enough," and this. So you want to actually give them shorter time than what you think.
So you pad your deadline, basically.
You can't, well, no, I would make it shorter for them.
Okay. Well,
So
yeah, don't tell them your deadline. Just okay, I got it.
yes, and it's actually, it's going to help them. It really is. You're actually doing them a favor by not giving them too much time, because they're going to
Okay.
overthink. Yeah, so
Oh.
just, hey, just get me your rough draft, by the end of the day or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, but just, be firm and just know, and just say, hey, and this is what I would say. Hey, I know you're probably thinking we can make it perfect, but we can always edit it later. It's better for us to just get at least a rough draft done.
Oh, you said it in
And
such a nice way too, because sometimes I have bad words floating through my head. I'm like, just get it done and get it to me. So I'm gonna have to write that down and be just encouraging. Like it's not set in stone. Let's just
right.
move forward. I like it.
We can, yeah, we can always change it later. And I think that's because I'm an innovator too. So my tendency is to want to make it perfect, but I know now done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
So innovators think perfect is better than done. We need to flip the script with them. So you being nice and holding our feet to the fire is going to be good.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to give a deadline to an innovator. That's what they need.
And I try to tell a lot of the women who are interested in being VAs that, like, look, these business owners need somebody to keep them on task. And it sounds like the innovator is definitely in that area. And there's tons of work out there because these business owners are so, they're just getting derailed here and there. And if they have a business manager or more than just a VA on their team, they can be the ones who are like, okay, it's time, it's time, it's time, and keep them on that right direction. And it really is a thing right now online. I'm trying to convince people that there's online entrepreneurs who need help from organized people. And those people are probably the innovators that you're talking about.
That's exactly the group. I mean, that's the same thing with my own clients, is that they're very hesitant to pull the trigger on stuff. And so they'll have like 20 things that they're doing at once. They want to solve all the different problems and they don't want to move forward. So
Okay.
your job is to say, you want to get this done. And also another helpful question would be, what is it going to do for your business if we get this landing page done? Like, to actually ask that question, because then they can see the future, you
Okay.
know? Yeah. So that might be a good question. Like, what is it going to do for you? I mean, that's a coaching question, but I think that could be helpful for you guys to ask as well.
Oh, this is good. I love all of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So you guys are going to be mini coaches for your clients as well. That is kind of what you're doing.
Yeah, there are quite a few business coaches that need our help, and I just never thought to look at them like this. So tell me about the next one. Are there a lot of builder clients that will come across?
Yeah, I mean, they probably will get stuff done on their own, but that doesn't mean that they don't need help of someone who's an expert. So, but the way to work with them is that they're going to want to have stuff done right away, like yesterday. So again, spelling it out of what the expectations are is going to be really important. And they really value people who work hard and who do a good job. So if you ever make a mistake with a builder, don't give a bunch of excuses. Just own it
Oh,
and fix it.
I
Like,
love it.
yeah, you don't want to be like, I'm so sorry, and give like 10,000 reasons. They're probably going to be thinking right then and there, okay, I'm going to get rid of this person. So just own it. Be like, I'm so sorry. We'll get it done. So just own it and fix it.
Okay. And I always
Yeah.
say, hey, I'm not going to charge you for that. I know it was my fault. I messed up. I own it. But sometimes in my head, I'm like, and my daughter's sick and my husband's deployed for a year and I'm depressed and like I want to like throw all this stuff at them, but you're like, just keep your personal stuff together, own it, and move forward.
Now with a merchant, if you said that to a merchant, they'd be like, "Oh, it's okay, no problem. Take all the time you want." Builder would be like, they're within this person may not be the best fit for me, depending on how big. So builder might have a much more bigger scale of a business that you'd be dealing with.
Oh my goodness. I'm just thinking I had to let somebody go on my team for this same reason. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I got stuff going on too. Bye. I mean,
Right.
I'm also a merchant, so I was conflicted, but I also knew that like, no.
Yeah. Sense, right? And then with bankers, I think we talked about you're probably not going to be working with too many, but if you are working with a banker who's like maybe a CFO or a bookkeeper and they need some stuff, they like the details. So, they want to have all the details. They like to get into the weeds. So giving them as much information as you can is going to be helpful.
Okay. And they probably like to hire really detailed people as well. Would that be right?
And they read stuff, or like if you want to say, hey, this is how, like if you want to teach them about Google Analytics or whatever, they'll be the ones that will actually read everything that you send them. The other three types may not, but they really like to get as much information as possible.
Oh, the bankers too. Interesting. Did anybody get banker? Will you let us know in the comments? I think I saw only one or two, and I also didn't see a lot of builders. But if you guys took the test recently, or you just snuck in and took it right now, let us know your results so we can see what you got. So awesome. This is so eye-opening.
Yeah, it's really helpful, and we start to be, at least for me, I stopped being so judgmental. Like, oh, why aren't they getting it done? Because now when I know, like, oh, that person's an innovator, like they just need more time to process. So, I'm a very action oriented coach. And I know with my innovators, I need to teach them something and then let them have time to process. I can't ask them to make a decision right away. So giving them a little bit more time. But if there's something that I know they need to get done, like, okay, we're working on your goals, and I said, okay, well, I need it by tonight. That's a little bit different. So you have to kind of know when to push and kind of when to give them a little bit of time, if that makes sense.
So who's the type of person, in our online business, where a lot of us are coming out with e-courses and membership sites, but who's the type of person who will put the pedal to the metal and get through all of the content? Like which personality is that?
Anybody that's a builder.
Okay.
And merchant innovators may too. So what the personality test tells you, it doesn't tell you like necessarily, like if you're a merchant innovator, doesn't mean that you're not a builder and you won't get stuff done.
Okay.
The personality test tells you what your strengths are. So not only what you're good at, so merchants will be good at connecting with people, but also what motivates you. So it's like, I'm a merchant innovator, but I get stuff done. I don't like to do it, but I can force myself because I've trained myself.
Okay.
So I think the people, that will get through the course would be a merchant builder, innovator builder. Anybody with a builder is probably going to have no problem going through those courses. Doesn't mean that merchant innovators or innovator merchants can't do it. It just might take us a little bit longer to do it.
So how could I, as a business owner, and I'm asking you this purely from an Amy Porterfield peer, how would I motivate those innovators to get through the course?
Is to ask them, okay, if you finish this course, what's going to change in your life? Like, what is it going to bring you in your life when you do this? And have them specifically tell you, like, I want to know the specifics of what is it going to bring to your life. That's the only way that you can really get them to do it, is to have them see the vision for their future.
Okay. I'm glad you said that, because I do bring that up to my girls, but I feel like as a builder, that's probably my weak point. I'm like, just get it done. But I know that I got to remind them why. And I've sent them a couple emails like, this is why you signed up for the course. Don't forget, this is why you signed up. You wanted to be a working virtual assistant with some side money coming into your bank account. So this is really helpful. And I think Amy Porterfield's people would like it too.
Yeah,
I think somehow we can come up with some content for them,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. But I think, just, and knowing that it might take them more time to just process, especially if they're a high innovator. So you can know the degree that someone is. So if you took the CVI, you got your little colored box, and you can see the colored boxes and like how big each section is. If one section's really big, that means you're high in that area. So if someone's a high innovator, it's going to take them longer to make those decisions.
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
Yes, and some of us are, it's just a little bit more, than 50%. So we're a good kind of mix of both.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So any
Yeah.
other tips? So I want to go back to what you said, because for me, this might be my biggest takeaway about using these words in your cover letter in an interview, like especially some of my course graduates haven't actually they don't actually have paying clients yet, and sometimes they kind of struggle with how to come across as confident and sell their what am I trying to say here, like their asset to a team. And
Mm,
I think that if they could really embrace some of these words, it would, I don't want to say cover up their lack of experience, but really show their worth. Like, do you have any advice on that? Did I make any sense just now?
well, yeah, no, and actually, I want to talk a little bit about how you and I met because that might help. Is that
Oh,
okay?
yes, please. I love the story. Yes.
Okay, so Emily and I are in a same group in Facebook, and I was struggling trying to get my new email sequence done. Like I'd written them up, but I wanted to make them look nice, and so I was trying to do it by myself because my VA couldn't, and it was seriously so frustrating. I want you guys to listen. This is a pain point that your clients are going to have. So listen to what I'm saying because this is how you can start to do your own social media marketing on how can I get to. So I was really frustrated and it was preventing me from moving my business forward because I was spending so much time on ConvertKit trying to make this email work and I was wasting so many hours like pulling out my hair. And so finally out of desperation, I posted on this group like kind of pathetic like please can anybody help me make my emails look nice. And so a couple of people PM'd me and one woman actually PM'd me in like within 30 seconds. So she must have instantly seen she PM'd me right away. And it was interesting because I felt like she was trying to sell me something way bigger than what I needed. All I wanted was some guidance on help, like how can I make my emails look nice? Can you help me? And so I didn't get the best vibe from her, even though I'm sure she's very nice. And then Emily reached out and she just said, hey, tell me where you're stuck. And I love the fact that she just asked a question like, where are you stuck? She didn't try to immediately sell me something. So I told her, I'm trying to make my emails look nice. She asked me a couple more questions and she's like, hey, I've got some time this weekend. I think I can help you. And, I just really appreciated that she just reached out to me and wanted to help. And like as a just another person, a totally stranger from online that helped me. And she ended up helping me way more than what I even needed. So I think something that you guys can play to is this frustration of people like me who it's getting in our way. Like just doing something simple like making an email look nice or making a landing page is such a huge frustration and it's preventing us from moving our businesses forward. So that can be something that you guys can speak to that, are you frustrated like trying to make your own emails look nice or whatever the specific thing that you like to work with? Is it taking away time from working on your business? So, because I think that is the hugest pain point. And so many of my clients who are business owners need people like you. So
Oh, and
I hope that.
I have to tell you, when I saw your post, I didn't come from the standpoint of like, ooh, I'm going to sweep up this client. Because there's people in the groups, and I know you all know, you're all part of other Facebook groups where one person needs help and everyone's trying to sell them their MLM business. Like, I got a wrap for that or a skin cream for that. And I just was like, hey, maybe I could just tell her. And I wasn't thinking you would hire me. And then, I waited. And then I guess I could just tell. I want to be careful what I say, but I could tell that the other girl who reached out to you was very impersonal. There was just something about the way she did that. And I wasn't cognitively thinking like, this is how I'll snag her. I just genuinely was like, how can I help? And then after a couple of days, I'm like, I think she still needs my help.
Yeah.
And it was, God, there's just, I want to say something more eloquent than what I'm saying right now, but there's a way to do it that's genuine. And from me helping you with one little simple thing, you've reached out to me, well, like, now how do I do this? Now how do I do that? That's how I've grown my business as a VA, not coming in there offering $2,000 packages. It's just like little things here and there. And then I become a valuable asset to somebody. And that's what I'm training my unicorns in the VA crash course to do. Just get your foot in the door doing something. And then it opens up all these other digital marketing skills you've learned. So thank you for letting me plug that.
Yeah. Well, and it's so true. Like all it takes is to get the one client. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you get the testimonial, I mean, that's really how you start. And I think the one thing that I would say, I think if I could go back and start over, like how I've been marketing myself, is to not be so afraid. I was so terrified to do Facebook Lives, even though I'm an extrovert, like I didn't want to do that or just put myself out on social media. But that really is how you're going to grow your business. That's how you're going to attract people like me to your business, is we have to see you online. So don't be afraid, put
Yes.
yourself out there. You want to attract the right people and repel the ones that don't jive with you.
Yeah.
You don't want to try to get everybody. You want to get your tribe. So that's one thing that I wish I'd done more, is to just not be so scared.
That's excellent advice. And I have to say, us as, virtual assistants and sidekicks or whatever you want to call us, we're not used to being in the limelight. We like being behind the scenes and helping other people, but we don't always want to put ourselves out there. And I know for 6 years of my business, I did no posting about myself. I did no humble bragging. I did nothing. And then I'm playing catch up. So I wish the same thing for me. I wish I had just done a little bit here and there, and people need to see your face. They do. And it helps if you go take pretty pictures.
Very true. Yes.
So, so who else is on your team? You have another VA on your team, right?
I do.
How did you
Yes.
find her?
Oh, I was desperate. Just recommendations from other friends. I was just asking everybody. And, it's so interesting. Like, I really feel like you and I were meant to meet, because I have been searching, just so you know, I do goal cards every morning. And one of my goal cards that I wrote last year said, I will find the perfect virtual assistant who will help me focus on doing what I do best. No joke. Like, that's actually a card. And even though you are not a virtual assistant, and you do way more than that, but I feel like that card manifested in you. And it's so funny because so many of my clients need virtual assistants, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't know where to find them. People are just posting on Upwork. And so here I meet you.
Yeah.
You're training all these virtual assistants. So I really think we're meant to meet, because there's so many people who need what you guys do. And your group is unique in that you guys do tech stuff. A lot of the VAs that I have met, they can do basic administrative stuff, but they have no idea how to make a landing page,
Mm-hmm.
how to do anything on a website, like at all. So I think you guys are at a huge, huge advantage over a lot of people who are out there right now. I don't see any virtual assistants who can do what you guys can do.
Oh, thank you. I am so glad you said that, because sometimes it feels weird to be teaching something that no one else is doing. But I really do believe in this unicorn VA who can do a little bit of this and that. And there's other VA courses, but they are all admin, and that's not what I teach. That's not what I like doing either.
Well, this is the most growing way of business, is social media, right? And if you
Mm-hmm.
can't make a landing page, if you can't do an opt-in, then who's going to do it for you?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's huge.
And side note, I don't always know how to do these things. Like if you hired me to work in, I don't know, Active Campaign, I have never worked in Active Campaign. I would love to learn it. I would say yes. I would be transparent with you and say I'm learning, and then I would Google the crap out of it. I know the basics of email marketing. I know all these other systems, but it doesn't mean, and I won't lie to you as a new client, but it doesn't mean I can't figure it out. And that's why some of those admin VAs, they're like, nope, can't do that.
Definitely. So even though, Sharon, my VA, does my admin stuff, like with clients and financials and stuff, she can't do any of this tech stuff at all. So yeah.
So do you hear that, girls? This is a wide open opportunity. I hope you jump on it, whether you take my course or not. But Jennifer's hooking up some of the VAs from my course. They're hooking up with business owners, and I hope some work comes out of that. But just these connections are amazing. And I can't thank you enough for helping them, because it's really my goal to help them get jobs. So I hope they do.
So glad that you are filling this niche, and
Yeah.
I think it's such a needed one. I think you guys, once you learn how to promote yourselves and you start putting yourselves out there, I think if you do it right, you're going to be fending off people, and you're going to start to learn how to pick the right clients for you. Like in the
Yes.
beginning, you'll pick everybody, but
Yeah.
slowly you're going to want to learn how to pick the right clients, because you don't want to take on those troublesome ones, because that will make you
Yeah.
miserable.
And it really can take one client like Jennifer and doing something really small. I can't even remember what I did. Add your header to your template. Is that all I did?
Yeah, you added a header and you, yeah, I mean, yeah, you made it look nice, which is
Yeah.
exactly what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, and ConvertKit's a little bit tricky. ConvertKit's probably the hardest one to style. And I know to move any more forward with Jennifer, I'm going to have to do some coding and put some more effort into it. But now it looks good. But I'm just telling you guys this because it starts with one little simple task and it just branches out from there and then turns into referrals. That's how I grew my whole business. And it's genuinely helping people. So thank you again for the plug.
Oh yeah, no, and I think a lot of people, I don't know if they are in the insiders. Is the insiders group a free group? I can't
No, it's
remember.
all of her alumni from different programs.
Okay.
But she has an
But
online community, the podcast community. That one would be a great place to start.
yeah, so that one might be a good place for you guys to find clients and just, I make it a point to try to go in groups where my target client is and just being helpful. If someone asks a question, just going and being helpful, so you start to be known. Oh, that person knows a lot about business, or that girl knows a lot about landing pages. So just going and starting to find your tribe. People may reach out to you in that way
Yeah.
as well.
And that is why you have your Facebook business page connected to your profile, because people stalk you out and they want to see where you work and then they like your page. So you do need to be promoting yourself. This is great. And also, don't be like the 30-second girl. Don't act like you're just sitting on Facebook all day long. Like, don't respond right away to everything because you will be that girl.
Yes, very true. There's a little bit of desperation that you kind of feel like,
Yes.
wow, was he just like waiting to pounce as soon as I,
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
And then I can't help but wonder, like, how many people is she hiring this out to? You know?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to tell anybody about the CVI or any like big takeaways?
No, I mean, I would encourage you guys if you have kids, like I said, it helped me open up my eyes. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So I'm a merchant innovator, and my son is a banker builder, and we could not be more opposite on the spectrum. And he's been my kid for 15 years, but it took the CVI and kind of understanding for me to really get him and accept him, which sounds really weird, but it's just opened up my eyes so much more now to my whole family. So yeah, I hope you guys find it helpful. I hope you get a chance to look at that PDF because I took a lot of time to do it,
Yes.
and I think you guys will see a lot of stuff about yourselves and feel like I finally feel heard or I finally feel understood. And I think if you are a merchant innovator, innovator merchant, that's why you're an entrepreneur. That's why you're doing this business, because we don't like to be in the corporate world. So you're doing the right thing by doing your own business and being your own boss.
Oh, I love that. And since I'm part of that, that makes me feel good. And all of you, embrace your strengths, embrace what you're good at. That's how you're going to like make it in this world in general. Like know yourself and know how to take that thing you're good at and just keep it going. How can you help others with that thing? And I think that's like the huge key to success.
Definitely.
So, yeah, sign up for her assessment and then Jennifer will email you or her VA will email you the PDF and then you can go over it in more detail about everything we talked about today. Jennifer also has a free Facebook group called, tell me what the name is.
The Badass Women Business Owners Group.
I just wanted to make you say badass. I know what his name, but yeah, we'll put a link into that. And if you think you're badass enough, please go join her group. And Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. And it's been fun to watch you grow your business and be a part of your success and help you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
All right. Bye now, guys.
Bye.